My name is Pete Kasevich. I'm 70 years old. I was born in 1954. And in my early life, I was one of the evacuation Marines that evacuated the Phnom Penh embassy in Cambodia between 1973 and 1975. Went to college on the GI Bill. Long story short, I became a CEO of large to medium-sized companies over my career in the air conditioning business. And about 1999, 1998, I started having issues with my son, a very dedicated HVAC technician, hardworking kid. It took a couple years to figure out that because of his bad back, his medication for that back developed into a heroin habit. And at that point, I started to get connected to my Marine Corps roots again because I played trumpet in college. I was in the infantry, but I played trumpet in college. And the Marine Corps was short of TAPS players. So I got back in the uniform, got myself in shape, and used the military TAPS every couple of days during the week, even while I was still a CEO, helping the Marine Corps bury Marine veterans, which is a requirement for the government to do for any deceased veteran. So in 1999, around June, we lost my son. And long story short, when we figured out it had become heroin, it was the movie. It was the movie. I don't have to say much more, but they put you through all kinds of things as you try to get them healthy. He did get healthy at one point and then regressed, which is the case in most situations, really. So the dedication to the Marine Corps, rededicating to the Marine Corps, and eventually retiring helped me to both stay in shape, to stay in the uniform, and get my mind off of that as I retired in 2022. By 2024, my remaining child, my daughter, developed cancer, and she lived with it for about 3.5 years, and we lost her in February. So there was a second blow there, and as much as I saw in the Marine Corps, nothing prepares you for the loss of both of your only two children. So that was the second blow, and I needed to focus even more on how to deal with the grief. So years ago, in my 40s, I had run a number of Marine Corps marathons, not fast, but I did them. And I said, at 69 at the time, I was going to start training for the marathon for both kids, in honor of both kids, and to deal with the grief. Marines deal with grief different than many people in that many of us were around death before. We're big believers in goal setting and getting through adversity. So in my case, for me, exercise was the path I chose, rather than sitting with, not to knock a therapist, but rather than sitting with a therapist and going through, question after question and discussion after discussion. I found the endorphins from the exercise to be good for me. In the training around this time last year for the marathon, I was so dedicated to getting that 26 miles done that I hurt both Achilles on the treadmill. Both Achilles tendons were severely affected. It was severe tendonitis, and I came to see Dr. Rodriguez at that point. Very depressed because, I had to stop the training for the marathon. And he was very understanding. He's looking at this 70-year-old guy and probably saying, what is he, crazy? He thinks he's going to run a marathon at this age. He didn't do any of that. He He believed in me. He believed he can get me going again. And he gave me nothing but encouragement. So he took a look at both legs and started me on physical therapy. And that was done at the professional physical therapy with Nick Licameli and his team. Did that for about 4 months, and we were able to get most of the problem in the left Achilles done, and eventually all of the problem in the left Achilles done through exercise. And Nick was able to coach me on how to start ramping up the running, even though the right side was still really sore and painful. So he coached me and brought me back slow to get me running slow again, and to slowly stretch, or slowly challenge, the right side as well as the left side. And so what eventually happened was I adjusted the goal, and the goal unfortunately had to be adjusted to a 10K. So we adjusted the goal to a 10K, and that was done in November at Marine Corps Base Quantico, and I finished it in 12:30, which is nothing to brag about, but I was the third in my class of 70 to 79-year-old runners. That's not saying much though, because there was a couple thousand runners, but there were only 5 runners in that age group. So I guess not a lot of people at my age do that very often. So anyway, I adjusted the goal, and now I'm running again. Came back to see the doc, and now we're working on the right foot with some plantar fasciitis, which is there. There's a bursa under the heel, and there's still some Achilles problems going on there. So the next step is, since we've got it honed down to one area, is to work with Dr. Zena Ciparelli, who's a great podiatrist and also a marathon runner. Had my first meeting with her. The second meeting will be today. She analyzed my running, filmed it, and discovered that my running problems are mostly involved with my running style, not picking up my knees, my feet taking most of the punishment, which is incorrect. So we are working on that now, and she is using electric shock therapy in the foot, which has given me great relief. And the next goal now is to try to get to a half marathon, maybe 6 to 8 months from now. What my future will be regarding the loss of my kids, will I visit a psychotherapist at some point? Maybe, but this is the path that I chose right now, and Dr. Rodriguez is the guy who made it happen. So with that, very grateful to be his patient.